The most significant themes of the fascist ideology are anti-rationalism, struggle, leadership and elitism, collectivism, chauvinistic nationalism, and racialism. How many of these themes did Trump express during the Trump versus Harris debate on September 10th? If you find this video useful, please take the time to press that subscribe and bell buttons so you can get notified when new content is published. You can also support the channel by joining the community or supporting me on Patreon or Ko-fi. Every little bit helps. Let's first go over the core themes in a bit more detail. Anti-rationalism is a rejection of the Enlightenment ideal of reason, the notion that society can tackle problems through the reliance of rational thought and scientific inquiry. Fascism dismisses this in favor of embracing willpower and directing itself straight to the soul, the emotions, instincts, for action. In other words, don't think, feel. I suppose young people today would describe this as an ideology of vibes. And the specific vibes fascism want to amp up are the struggle, preferably a life and death struggle. In that sense, fascism appeals to a romanticism of death, deeply connected to social Darwinism, a scorn for the weak and a celebration of the physically strong. The third theme is that of leadership and elitism, and this is a rejection of the idea of equality. If society should be organized according to the strong ruling the weak, then it follows that the leader should never be questioned and have unlimited power. Fascist collectivism is anti-individualistic, anti-bourgeois, anti-communist, and anti-capitalism. Fascists despise wealth or profits, as those pursuits distract from the social Darwinist struggle that they're devoted to. Their ideas of leadership are based on physical and martial strength, not business acumen. Another theme, the fourth, concerns chauvinistic nationalism. Nations are not equal, fascists believe, but rivals struggling for dominance. Contained in this theme is not mere patriotism, but rather a devotion to the idea that of national rejuvenation, regeneration, a rebirth of national pride. And this can only convince the public if the fascist convinces the public that the nation is currently in a state of decadent decay. While fascism is not always racist, and not all racists are overtly fascists, the theme of racism fits easily within fascism belief of superiority, of the strong over the weak, as it is easy to match those categories along racial lines in this system of thought. Now, how many of these themes did Trump express during the debate? Let's look at each theme in turn from the greatest frequency to the lowest frequency, starting with leadership and elitism.
Are you now acknowledging that you lost in 2020?
No, I don't acknowledge that at all.
But
I
you
said
did
that
say
sarcastically.
But
You know that. It was said, oh, we lost by a whisker. That was said sarcastically. I created one of the greatest economies in the history of our country. I'll do it again and even better. Viktor Orban said it. He said the most respected, most feared person is Donald Trump.
Trump, as you will have noticed, refused to take responsibility for January 6th. Do not question the leader in fascism. That is his reflex. He wants to lead without accountability. He also claims to be the only one who can do wonders for the economy, and that others see him as a feared leader. Of the 6 themes of fascism, the theme of leadership and elitism is most frequently expressed in Trump's remarks. We can classify this as fully expressed during debate night. The second most common theme expressed by Trump during debate night was racialism.
We have millions of people pouring into our country from prisons and jails, from mental institutions and insane asylums, and they're coming in and they're taking jobs that are occupied right now by African Americans and Hispanics. They're dangerous. They're at the highest level of criminality, and we have to get them out. We have to get them out fast. In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there.
His absolute hatred of racialized immigrants was the second strongest theme of his performance on the debate night. He doesn't name any origin for the immigrants he speaks of here, nor the color of their skin, but the audience already knows which groups he's targeting, namely people of color, particularly Latin Americans and Africans, and he makes up anything to vilify these groups and stir up hatred against them. Like this now famous line about eating pets, which is directed at Haitian immigrants specifically. This theme was fully expressed during debate night. Chauvinist nationalism.
The people of our country are absolutely dying with what they've done. They've destroyed the economy. We're a nation that's in serious decline. We're being laughed at all over the world. They have, and she has, destroyed our country with policy that's insane. Almost policy that you'd say they have to hate our country because people want to take their country back. Our country is being lost. We're a failing nation. And it happened 3.5 years ago.
Trump insists that the US is a failing nation. It's facing ruin, a nation being killed by them. He is very consistent here with the fascist rejection of modernity. He must paint the US like this. Otherwise, his audience would not be primed for his Make America Great Again message, which is basically a primal appeal, an emotional appeal to national rejuvenation. He wants his audience to feel this deeply instinctual urge for national regeneration. It's all about the feels. Again, which is very much the basic fascist theme of chauvinistic nationalism. Given his campaign slogan, I'd say this theme is also fully expressed. Anti-Rationalism.
I have concepts of a plan. We have inflation like very few people have ever seen before, probably the worst in our nation's history.
Trump had very few structured policy ideas. The least bad we got was this concept of a plan for healthcare after 9 years in politics. Remember that this is not a problem in fascism. Indeed, it is even encouraged. It rejects reason and rational thought. Trump's message is one of feels. He wants his audience to feel anger, hatred, and outrage. Presenting a coherent thought or policy plan is not important. Making the audience feel is important. I would classify this theme as fully expressed too. Struggle.
Viktor Orban, one of the most respected men, they call him a strong man. He's a tough person, smart.
The strong shall rule over the weak in fascism. In Trump's mind, this is apparently true too. He loves Viktor Orban because he sees Orban as strong. Like the fascists, he celebrates social Darwinist strength. I think this is why he never criticizes Putin. Notice how he refused to say that he wanted Ukraine to win or offer any condemnation of Putin in this debate. The strong shall rule the weak in the fascist mind, but the theme does not occur as often as the other themes, so let's call this partially expressed. As far as I'm concerned, his remarks did not invoke the fascist type of framing of collectivism at all. In conclusion, it seems to me that 4 of the 6 themes are fully expressed, 1 is partially expressed, and 1 is absent. Is Trump a fascist? Well, Trump doesn't strike me as a deep thinker, but rather as someone who feels, goes with the vibes, which is also, if you recall, a fascist trait. Rejecting rational thought fits Trump very well indeed. Of all the ideologies this channel has covered so far, his instincts, I would argue, are closest to fascism, and his campaign is a vector for introducing the fascist worldview into the mainstream. We should not take this lightly. He has already tried to launch a coup to block the peaceful transfer of power once, so classifying this movement as a threat to democracy is hardly hyperbole. Thanks for watching, and I hope you found this useful.